for the, okay, I want you to pay attention to these exercises here, to these sentences, so we can solve some other exercises about articles, okay? So in English, we have 3 articles, okay? So do you remember which are them?
The,
The,
a, or an.
a, or an, right? Okay, so we have these 3 articles in English, and we can classify them in 2 different types, okay? For example, we can say definite and indefinite article, okay? Which of them do you think is definite?
The,
Then, on,
the,
which of,
The.
right? Yes. Why do you think this is definite? Why? What does it mean, definite article? When do we use it? I want you to look at your examples here in exercise 3. When do you think we use a definite article like the?
um, when there is only one of something.
Okay, yes. What does what does it mean? Definite article.
Something specific.
Something specific. Yes, because it's definite, right? Yes. And we have here indefinite articles when we are not talking about something specific, right? It says it is used when the speaker talks about something specific that both the person speaking and the listener know. So if I say the class, you and I know about what class we are talking about. We are talking about our class, the class. Okay, so when I use the listener and the speaker both know the specific thing or person we are talking about. Okay, for example, the people in the photo aren't really tiny. So we are saying here the people because we are talking about these people in the photo, these specific people in the photo. We are not talking about other people, right? So remember, when we use we talk about something specific. And then we have a or an. They are used when we don't specify the things or people we are talking about. For example, Joao found a penguin covered in oil in his backyard. So here we don't need to say the because we are talking about any penguin that he found, right? So we don't specify what kind of penguin or anything, okay? So this is the difference between these two, okay? We're going to check some rules that we can use in each one of them, okay? Let's see the first one. Here we have exactly the same sentence. Joao found a penguin covered in oil in his backyard. He cleaned the penguin, fed him, and released him back into the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so in this sentence, I want you to tell me where can you find the articles?
A penguin.
A penguin, yes.
The
The
penguin.
penguin.
The
The
penguin,
penguin.
yes.
The Atlantic Ocean.
And the Atlantic Ocean. Very good. Okay. Here we have a penguin and here we have the penguin, right? Why do you think in the first we use a and in the second we use the? What could be the reason?
Because we use the in the second because we before ya habíamos hablado de esa cosa.
Yes, we have We had mentioned, yes, the penguin. Yes, very good. So we use a or an if we are talking about something for the first time. In this sentence, we are talking about the penguin for the first time, right? And when we mention this again, we can use the because we know what penguin are we talking about, right? So we use an or a when you mention an object for the first time, okay? And we use the when you refer to the same object or the same thing, the same animal, place, or whatever, again, okay? And in this situation, we normally use the when we talk about rivers, oceans, or group of islands, okay? When we are talking about their names, we use the. For example, the Pacific, the, the Nile, okay? The Mount Everest, okay? So we use the when we are talking about these names, okay? Let's see. Here we have some other rules when to use the. Here we have some sentences. The first one, did you watch the movie I recommend you last week? Why do we use the here in the movie? What do you think? Why do we use the? The movie I recommended you last week.
Because the movie was recommended before. It was mentioned before.
Yes, very good. The listener and the speaker know what movie they are talking about, right? Very good. Something or someone that is already known. Okay. Then we have here something similar. Yesterday I watched a movie. The actors in the movie were famous. This is something similar as we said about the penguin, right? We talk about the penguin. We use a here. What did we say before? We use a because
Is mentioned for the first time.
it's mentioned for the first time, and we use the because we are mentioning this same thing again, right? So something or someone that has been mentioned before, okay? When we use the when we talk about something or someone that has been mentioned before, okay? Then we have here, that's the woman who I saw yesterday in the store. Why do you think we need to use the here? What do you think? Why the?
Because we know already the woman.
Okay. Could be.
Because it's the only woman that he saw yesterday, or
Okay.
a specific woman.
Could be a specific woman, right? He or she's talking about a specific woman, yes. And also, when we have a relative pronoun to define someone or something, we use the. Remember that we learned about relative clauses, and this is a relative pronoun, right? And this is a relative clause, right? That's the woman who I saw yesterday in the store. So this relative clause is defining the woman, right? Estamos definiendo con toda esta oración o estamos describiendo o hablando de esta persona. Entonces, cuando tenemos relative pronouns para definir a alguien o algo, utilizamos de también. ¿Ok? O relative clauses, podríamos decir, en lugar de relative pronouns, porque a veces podemos eliminar este relative pronoun. Okay, what about this one? The sun is shining brightly today. What do you think? Why did we use the here?
When there is only one.
Yes, when there is only one of something, we use the. For example, the sun, the sky, the, what else can we say? The moon, right? When it's the only one in the context, okay? Could be just the only one in the context, no solamente el único en el mundo, pueden haber otros como eso, pero si es el único en el contexto en el que estamos hablando, utilizamos the, okay? Let's see. Here we have some other rules for the. Here we have two sentences, and I want you to tell me which of them, if these sentences are correct. For example, that was the most technological device I've seen. What do you think? Is this sentence correct?
Yes,
Yes. Why?
because we have a superlative.
Yes, very good. We have a superlative adjective here, and we use the superlative adjective with the, right? Always. Very good. Then we have here the second sentence. The first cell phone I bought was too big to carry.
Correct,
Correct. Why?
because it's the ordinal numbers. We use the first.
Yes, because we have here ordinal numbers, or we can call them sequence markers too. Okay, ordinal numbers or sequence markers, the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, right? Las posiciones, ¿cierto? Then we have this one. The last time Michelle opened her computer was the last Saturday. Is this sentence correct? What do you think? The last time Michelle opened her computer was the last Saturday. It's correct? What do you think?
Yes,
Yes, okay. Why?
because we have relative pronouns, but no está ahí. The last time that Michelle opened, podría ser.
Okay, yes. Could be, Yes, and this is also a sequence marker, right? We have the first and the last. So we can use the, right? So yes, this part is correct. But the sentence is incorrect because here we have the last Saturday. Okay, remember that we can't say the last Saturday, the last month, the last year. It's incorrect. Okay, when we are talking about these time expressions for the simple past, we don't say the last, right? So the correct sentence would be, the last time Michelle opened her computer was last Saturday. Okay, and this sentence is correct. What about the next one? The last year I went to the USA to check the new cell phone on the market.
Incorrect.
Again, please?
Incorrect.
Incorrect. Why?
Because it's the same with the last Saturday last year.
Yes, it's exactly the same, right? We can't say the last year. We say last year, right? It's exactly the same. Okay, very good. So remember, we can use the when we have superlative sentences or superlative adjectives in a sentence. When we have sequence markers, for example, the first, the second, the third, the last, okay? We can't use the when we have this kind of time expressions with next. For example, we don't say the next Saturday or the next week, the next year. We don't use the with this kind of time expressions, okay? And we don't use the with time expressions with last Monday, last week, last weekend. We don't say the, okay? So we don't need to use the as in Spanish. ¿Ok? En español sí decimos la próxima semana, el próximo año, la semana pasada, pero en inglés no. ¿Ok? En inglés no necesitamos del de para este tipo de expresiones de tiempo. ¿Ok? Solamente para decir el orden de las cosas. The first, the second, the third, the last. ¿Ok? Let's see. Then we have these articles, the ones that are indefinite. And do you remember when do we use each one of them? When do we use a?
When we mention something for the first time.
Okay, we can use both in this situation. But when? What is the difference between these two articles?
We use an when the word after that and start with a vowel.
Very good. And a?
And start with a consonant.
Yes, very good. I guess Sebastian is the only one in the class today. He's the only one participating, yes. And we use a when the following word starts with a consonant, right? And we use an. For example, here we have a policeman needs to be in shape. And we use an when the following word starts with a vowel. For example, working as an actor is difficult. Okay? Yes, very good. And here we have some sentences about the use of these articles. Okay? I opened the door and I saw a package on the floor. So what do you think? What is the rule here? Why do we use a in this sentence? What did we say before? When do we use a or an?
For profession?
But we are here in the first one, right?
Okay.
A package on the floor.
When is singular?
Yes, very good. When we are talking about something that is a countable noun that is singular. Okay, we always use a or an when we talk about something or a countable noun that is singular. Very good, yes. Any other ideas? This is mentioned for the first time, right? So that's why we use a. It's something that we said before, right? When we talk about a person, idea, object that is mentioned for the first time, we use a, okay? Or an, of course. And as Diego said before, what did you say, Diego? I asked a salesman for help.
For a job or occupation?
Yes, very good. We always use a when we are talking about a person's occupation. For example, I'm a student, I'm a teacher. No podemos decir, por ejemplo, I'm teacher. Ok, como en español, yo soy profesora. Siempre necesitamos un artículo que es a or an, en este caso. For example, I'm an architect. I'm an accountant. I'm a lawyer. Siempre, cuando estemos hablando de ocupaciones, debemos utilizar un artículo antes de la ocupación. Okay? Let's go to the next one. Here we have some sentences, and I want you to help me to check which of them is the correct. Okay, here we have the first two sentences. The cell phones are very useful for students to do their homework. Cell phones are very useful for students to do their homework. So what do you think about these two sentences? Which one is the correct and why? This is something I told you hundreds of times.
The second,
Why?
because it's general.
Yes,
Cell phones.
very good. This is something I tell you almost every class, right? When you are talking about something in general, we don't need to say the, right? We are talking about cell phones in general, right? So the correct one is this one, because we are talking about something general. We are making a general statement, right? What about this one? I studied English in college, or I studied English in the college. What do you think? Which one is the correct?
First,
The first.
Why?
because it's frequently visited by us, or like home or work, college.
Okay. Yes, the first one is the correct one, because we use, for example, when we are talking about some places where we live, work, study, or do specific activities, like you said before, work, school, college, prison, church, we don't need to use an article, because here we have a preposition before, right? So we don't need to use an article after a preposition to talk about these places, okay? This is the other rule. And then we have here, the classical music is good for the soul. The classical music is good for the soul. Pardon, classical music is good for the soul. Which one is the correct and why?
The second.
Why?
Because it's a general statement.
Yes, very good. It's a general statement. And also, it's abstract. We are talking about music. Okay, so when we are talking about something that is abstract, we don't need the, for example, pollution, noise, what else? Wind, something that is abstract, we can touch or we can see. Okay, so when we have these kind of nouns that are uncountable, we generally don't use an article. Okay, so remember, we don't use articles for general statements when we are talking about something in general. Okay. Any questions until here? Any doubts?
Teacher, for example, in the I study English in college. Si yo dijera I study English in the UA, en la Gabriel, como es específico, ya tengo que usar el artículo. ¿En dónde estoy?
Yes, cuando están hablando de algo específico, como la universidad, y especifican cuál es la universidad, sí, deben utilizar the. Okay?
Okay.
Yes, exactly. Okay, let's go to the book. Here we have the same sentences we did before. And we are going to solve exercise number 4, okay? When do we use a, the, or no article? Okay, match the sentences in exercise 3 with the rules A to J, okay? Number one, here we have a lot of rules, as you can see, when we can use or we can't use articles. And we are going to match them with the sentences here in exercise number 3. Okay, let's see. Number one, use "our" and when you mention something for the first time. Which sentence can we match with this rule?
9.
9, right? It's a photo of an iceberg in Newfoundland. Very good. Number 9. B. We use "the" when there is only one of something.
2,
Number 2. Yes, the sun is shining. Number 2. Rule C. Use "the" with superlative adjectives.
3,
8.
8
8,
or 3.
8 or 3, both are correct, yes. Pero lo que tenemos acá subrayado es el superlative. Entonces vamos a decir 8, okay, the 8. Pero yes, you are right. Number 3, the most violent type of storm. D, use "are" and to talk about frequency or speed. Frequency or speed.
4.
Yes. A year, for example, twice a week. I go to the gym 4 times a week. Okay, a year. I call you or I do exercise once a day. Okay, entonces sí, cuando estamos hablando de la frecuencia, podemos utilizar "a" también. Rule E. Use "the" with countries that include United Republic or Kingdom. Okay.
5.
5.
5. Yes, the US, right? Very good. Remember that we don't use "the" with other countries that don't include United Republic or Kingdom. Okay? We don't say, for example, for cities, we don't use "the", a no ser que el nombre sea así. Okay? F. Use "the" with the names of rivers, seas, and oceans.
7.
7.
7. Yes, the Atlantic Ocean. Use no article to talk about things in general.
3,
3. Tornadoes. We are talking about tornadoes in general, right? Use a "the" with ordinal numbers, first, second, third.
1,
1, the first photo. Use "the" to talk about something you have always mentioned. You have already mentioned.
10,
10, the photo was taken by Mike Parson. Because in sentence number 9, we talk for the first time about the photo, right? So in the second time we mention it, the photo. What? J. Use "our" and to talk about somebody's job. And this is
6.
6. Yes, a bricklayer. Very good. Okay, so these are the rules that you need to follow when you use articles, okay? So I want you to go to page 132, and here we're going to practice with the exercises, okay? Number 1, choose the correct options to complete the sentence. Please, Ronnie, can you read sentence number 1?
That was the best movie I've ever seen.
Okay, why do you use the?
For a superlative.
Yes, because here we have a superlative form of the verb, right? The best movie. Very good. The next one, please, is for Maria Jose.
I go running 3 times a week.
Okay. Why do you use a week? Why?
Sorry, teacher, my nephews are here.
Okay. So guys, why do we use a week?
Because frequency.
We are talking about the frequency, right? Yes, very good. Number 3, please, Diego.
I have to go, no article. I have to go to work now. I'll call you later.
Okay, I have to go work, right?
Yes.
To go to work. Yes, we don't use an article when we are talking about places we normally go to, right? Very good. Number 4, please, Alison.
Look at the moon. It's really bright tonight.
Okay, why did you use the? Why?
Only in context.
It's the only one, right? It's the only one, the only moon we have. And be careful with this word, bright. It's really bright tonight. Number 5, please, Raúl.
Look at the moon. It's really bright tonight.
Number 5.
Excuse me. What do you do? I am a student.
Okay. Why did you use a student?
Because the student is an occupation.
Very good. It's an occupation. Number 6, please, Leonardo.
I don't like rock music
Why did you use no article?
because it's general.
Again, please.
Because it's something general.
Yes, it's something you are talking about rock music in general, and it's also abstract. It's an abstract idea, right? Let's go to the next one, please. Fanny, number 7.
I don't like, sorry. The president arrived in France on Monday.
So we don't use article when we are talking about a country that doesn't have republic, kingdom, or united, right? Number 8, please, Juan Enrique.
Number 8, yes. Most people now use smartphones.
Why?
Because
Why?
it's in general.
Yes, it's a general idea. You are talking about something in general. Carla, please, number 9.
There was a man selling ice cream outside.
Why a man?
Because we don't know who is the man.
Yes. We are talking about, well, and we are mentioning this for the first time, right? Yes, it's not something specific. Sebastian, please, number 10.
I have I hope to see you next week.
Because we don't use article with these time expressions, with next, right? Very good. Any questions about this? Any doubts?
Teacher, yo tenía una duda. En el 7 no utilizamos el de, ¿no ves? Pero en el ejercicio que hicimos comparando con el ejercicio 3 dice use the with countries that include United Republic and Kingdom.
En ejercicio 7, use the, ok, vamos a hacer. Dice use the con countries que su nombre incluya United, Republic, or Kingdom. Ok, y France, do we say Republic?
Entendí, sí,
right?
fue
Yes.
error de interpretación mía. Gracias.
Okay, anybody else? Any other questions, doubts? Okay, let's go to the next one, number 2, okay? Number 2. Recuerden cuando se equivoquen en algo, no digan excuse me, porque excuse me lo decimos cuando queremos pedir permiso para hacer algo. Por ejemplo, si alguien está en nuestro camino y decimos excuse me, o queremos hablarle a alguien, decimos excuse me. Pero cuando cometemos un error, decimos sorry, ¿ok? No excuse me. Okay, complete the sentences and add the or leave a blank. So no article, okay? Number 1. I want you to do this, okay? Number 1, what can we say? Food in this restaurant is amazing. Why?
Is it specific?
Yes, we are talking about the food in this restaurant. We are not talking about food in general, right? We are talking about the food in this specific restaurant. Number 2, basketball is one of most popular sports in world. In the first space, what can we say?
Not
No
article.
article.
No article. Of?
The most.
The most, because we have superlative, right? In?
The world.
The world, because it's the only world we have, right? Number 3, in?
The.
In the US,
No article.
no article. Tornadoes are pretty common in the Midwest because we are talking about tornadoes in general, right? Number 4, girl who gave me those flowers was about 10 years old.
The,
right? The girl who gave me those flowers, because here we have a relative clause describing the girl, right? Number 5, and we are talking about this girl in specific. Number 5, I'd like to talk to
the manager.
The manager, right? Of
the
hotel, right? Yes, because we are talking about this this manager in specific, okay, about and in this hotel, right? Number 6, boys are usually taller than, what can we use here?
Not article.
No article. And here?
No article.
No article, because we are talking about boys and girls in general, right? Number 7, I often listen to?
Not article.
No article, We are talking about music in general, and it's abstract, right? While I'm studying. Number 8. The hotel where I stayed had a beautiful view of
The sea.
the sea. Very good. And here we have another relative clause describing the hotel or giving more information about the hotel, right? Very good. Any questions, any doubts about this exercise? Okay, let's do the next one, number 3. I want you to do it alone, okay? Very easy. I'm going to give you 3 minutes so you can do it. 2 minutes is easier. Okay, number 1. I think that the most beautiful place to visit in Colombia is Tayrona National Park. It's a protected area on the Colombian coast, 34 kilometers from the city of Santa Marta. There's an amazing forest, rainforest in there, because here we mentioned the park for the first time, right? In the park, where you might see
No article.
monkeys, parrots, frogs, and iguanas. I went to a magnificent beach at Cabo San Juan, which was again? It can be because we are talking about San Juan, Cabo San Juan, que es un lugar específico, ¿cierto? So aquí sería the perfect place to swim and to watch a spectacular sunset over the sea. Number 11, no article. Tourists love going to Tayrona National Park. So if you want to avoid the crowds, the quietest time to visit the park is during
No article.
But we are talking about this season in specific, right? During the off season. Okay, estamos hablando de esta temporada en específico. So during the off season from February to November. Okay, any questions about this? Any doubts?
Teacher, en el número 11, ahí no estamos hablando específicamente de los turistas que fueron a ese lugar.
No, porque no estamos diciendo los turistas que fueron a ese lugar. Ok, estamos diciendo los turistas aman ir a ese lugar. Estamos hablando de turistas en general, no de los que fueron a ese lugar o de los que van a ese lugar, sino de turistas en general. ¿Ok?
Ok, teacher.
Any other doubts? Okay. Let's go back to the page 90, here we have 95. And here we have the pronunciation of the, que is very important because we have different pronunciations, okay?